Well, hello again. There's absolutely no one here today. I've got 42 acres of fields and meadows and woods all to myself. It's bizarre. Not a person in sight anywhere. No one. I can't see the pug either. Oh, here he is. Come on, you. Ugh, there's just so much to wee on. So, it's probably time for another rambling miscellaneous meander. Or a meandering miscellany, either way. Let's see what we can find. Might be a bit too faint, but there's a woodpecker over in those woods somewhere. It's probably a green woodpecker, because that's what we get most commonly around here. He's quite close though. I might walk over a little bit further and see if I can spot him. It's getting louder. He's up in some of those trees somewhere. No chance of seeing him. Unfortunately, there's a fence here. Because there's an old people's home. This is the back of their garden. But still a nice sound to hear. Next one to listen out for will be the cuckoo. Yeah, we know you're always here. Oh, magpies and crows, you can always hear them. A Tippex bottle. Who's out Tippexing things in the woods? Oh, here's an interesting thing. This is a tree that's fallen over. Not quite sure what it is actually. It might be a hazel. Or it might be an alder, I'm not sure. But look, where it's fallen over, can you see there's a big lump of flint embedded in amongst the roots there. But this piece of flint is fantastic because it's actually suspended and held by the root. Look at that. It's just floating in midair. There's another flint down there. Yeah, the tree is as healthy as anything. Random pistachio shell. It's the only one. This little crabapple tree is quite cool. Has the sourest apples you've ever tasted, which we won't see again till the autumn. But what it's also got in here, if you can see it, is two good old collections of mistletoe. There's one there, there's one up there, a little bit higher. So yeah, this was quite nice at Christmas, although I see the thrushes have had all the berries off now. Another fabulous tree where part of it has rotted, but we're left with this extraordinary, looks like durdle door arch here, you see? That actually links to the main part of the tree, but the tree's still all growing quite happily. And it looks to me to be a cherry, an old cherry. I like the fact too that the people who manage this land have planted all these new hazels along here. So they're coppicing. In the 21st century they're coppicing. They're doing what the old farmers used to do to create a windbreak for the fields, but also to provide those very useful straight rods that people would use for all sorts of things farming. Look, all these new hazels that they planted. It's fantastic. There's a little oddity just along here. Here it is. There. Yep, that is a glass bottle of some description that's buried in the ground. And there are three like that on these fields. A, I don't know how they're not broken, and B, why are they buried in the ground? It's very strange. Anyway, moving on. This is one of my favourite little wooded paths. One of the things I like about it is how weird it is, all the trees are leaning over. It's quite odd, isn't it? A lot of it is elder, a lot of it is hawthorn, but there is this curious thing that they're all leaning over to the right. or to the left if you're coming from the other direction. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's beautiful, twisty, gnarly wood. I mean, this is probably, I'm trying to guess now what tree that is. I think that's probably elder, judging by the fact it's covered in so much moss, as it does seem to attract quite a lot of that, whereas hawthorn not quite so much. But sorry, tripping over my dog here. But yeah, it's just an interesting path to walk down, just because, like I said, all the trees are leaning over. It's very strange. I don't know what causes that particular effect. It can't be wind, because the wind changes direction all the time. Look, there's still more up here, look. It's very odd indeed. But it's also delicious wood. Look at this. Look at all this gnarliness. Look at that. Oh, it looks like we've had visiting beetles as well, judging by this. Look at that. But new shoots coming up all the time. There's one there, look. There's another one going up there. Beautiful straight shoots going up. The tree's still very much alive and very healthy. Isn't it, Pug? Some beautiful yellow lichens on this ash tree. Look at these. It's lovely, isn't it? What a colour. And a bit of moss too, but yeah, that yellow is quite striking. Look at that. These are just the sorts of things I spot when I'm out walking. I mean, there's nothing particularly special about any of them. There's nothing particularly rare about any of them. It's just that, you know, we go through life walking past a lot of this stuff without taking it in, and there's so many wonderful things to see if you just open your eyes and look around you. I love it. And there's actually a fair bit of science that says that this is actually good for us. It's called soft fascination. It's the idea that just being out in nature or in a nice environment, you look around you and your brain's taking in lots of input, lots of really interesting stuff, you know, colours and shapes, and you can smell the air and you can touch and feel things, but your brain doesn't have to do anything with the information. That's the important thing. There's no processing involved. You know, it's not leading to something. There's no task at the end of it. And this is good for our brains because it exercises our brains but doesn't actually overtax us. The Japanese have a word for it. They call it boketo, which means gazing into the far distance for no apparent reason, or something like that. It's a great idea. I love it.